This is Rock with 13 Peppers, and this is the last day of August 2024. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick garden update and just a little bit of a rant. Here is where I am growing all of my 7-pot varieties this year. If you recall the video I made at the beginning of the season where I was struggling with my plants, everything pretty much, well, at least about 98% of them all came out and are growing excellent, full of pods and everything. So very, very cool. Now here is the front half of my rear garden, and you can actually see the growth and everything on that. You can also see my cucumbers in the back. They're dying off now, and my blueberries that are kind of getting overtaken since they're not producing. I haven't messed with that bed at all, but yeah, at the fall, when I start getting rid of all the plants, I'll go clean that out. And I'm only doing this to give you an idea of how big the plants have actually grown. This is crazy. Love it. And this is the back half of my garden here. As you can tell, these plants have just taken off greatly. Huge improvement over what it was when I first started out, but yeah, just please ignore the green beans and everything right there. I'm done picking. I'm tired of picking green beans, so I'm just letting them go. But oh, it is all good. Everything has turned out awesome this year. All right, and I got my watermelon and everything here. These things are nice and ripe. Actually opened it up, looks beautiful inside. It's supposed to be like a sugar sweet baby, which is just a small little watermelon, but these things are huge. Doug took one home and weighed it, and it was just under 28 pounds. So amazing how big they've grown. Now this was an awesome bonus this year. I was actually mowing not more than 5 feet underneath this thing, and I had my neighbor next door wave me down because she pointed out and asked me if I knew that I had this giant nest in my tree. And no, I did not. So this was very fun and interesting to have. It is absolutely huge, and I did finally kill everything in the nest, but it actually took me coming out here at 5 o'clock in the morning as I was heading to work, spraying it, and then running away fast as you could ever imagine. So for a 50-year-old man, I was running like I was in my 20s. But came back later in the day, checked on it, and it is absolutely dead, no activity. So yeah, very, very cool. I'm going to take this down and probably post this in my recording studio someplace because it's very, very cool. Now, I must say my garden has actually done incredible from where I started at the beginning of the year. And if you've not seen my previous videos where I'm actually going over everything I'm growing, go back and look at them. Some of those plants look really, really sick. Now, like I said, 95% of them all came out beautiful, and very, very happy since I had a decent season and I got them out early enough, so which was really nice. Now, to be honest, when you just see pictures and stuff like that, everything looks like it's great and awesome. But to be honest here, and I want to be really open with a lot of people and a lot of things and challenges that happens when you're actually doing these videos, because I don't know, you kind of want to not show stuff that actually goes wrong, stuff that looks bad. And I think it's great that people make comments going, oh, your garden looks so great, but yeah, it's only what you're actually seeing. There are some things in the garden that just did not grow. I have a few peppers that just did not produce. I have other ones that just didn't come up. They just look scraggly. I've had others that struggled. So it's kind of been a challenge all year long. So, and what I want to kind of get into my little rant is that gardening, yes, it looks fun. It looks like it seems easy on the internet when you see these videos, these peppers and everything else, but it's a real challenge. Even if you have a smaller garden or a bigger garden or anything like that, it doesn't always look as fabulous as it does on the video. So, and when I see other videos out there promoting stuff that, yeah, just, oh, everything is perfect, everything is great. Yeah, that's not actually true. That's not how it is. So I don't know if this is going to be a good rant or not. I'm kind of just going off. Give me an example. Like one of the struggles that I had this year with the struggling of the soil, getting all the plants in and them just looking so bad at the beginning of the year, is I had a huge calcium deficiency pretty much across my entire section. All the garden soil and fertilizer I put in, I don't know, from the batch that I got, it just did not have calcium. And I had a lot of my peppers on my first batches when they were ripening all had these black spots, blossom end rot and everything on them, from just basically being nutrient deficient. So I had to actually go out, buy specific, not specific, but basically a bunch of micronutrients, macronutrients and stuff like that to actually feed into the soil. But for calcium, I will say, I'm not actually promoting products or anything like that, but one thing that I seen a big difference is when I started using it was the CalMag. This put calcium straight into the soil, and the next blooms and peppers and everything that was coming on, I really didn't have any deficiency like that again. I still had a few that struggled, and I don't know if it's just where they were uptake or if I had just had bad stuff in the soil right there, but everything else seemed to come out and actually start looking really good. But yeah, things are a struggle at times. Excuse me. Now I'll give you an example of one of my failures this year. I actually wanted this particular pepper to have out towards Halloween. This is a New Mix Halloween, and this pepper here, even though it kind of doesn't look that bad right there, but that is only about 3.5 inches tall. It didn't really produce too well. The peppers, when you really get to them, don't actually look that great. But yeah, this is just one of the failures that came through. Now, am I going to blame the company that sent this to me? No, I'm going to blame myself because I had the issues with putting the peppers out this year, how bad the condition they ended up in and everything else too. So, or it could actually be my soil right here. So I'm not going to blame a party or a company for something that could possibly be my fault. So one of the things I actually want to go over too is just peppers and growing peppers and propagation of peppers and how they actually produce. So basically, when you have a pepper and you have the flower come on and you have the pepper actually start producing a pod, you don't know at that particular time if the pollen actually got crossed or not. You actually don't know until next season, because the new patch or the crosses are actually in the seeds of that current pod that could look exactly right like it should be on phenotype, but yeah, you don't notice it until crossed. And I don't know, personally, to me it is not a problem. I love the differences, I love the varieties, and honestly that's how you get different peppers. You got people crossing peppers, you have accidental crosses out there that people are trying to isolate and break down so they actually have a newer pepper, so they can share with everybody. So it's wonderful. I have a few peppers that I love. I mean, I have some of my 7 pots that are supposed to be yellow, they ripened up bright red. I have a 7-pot mustard. Is it mustard? No, it's olive. I have a 7-pot olive over there where one of the plants turned out exactly like it's supposed to be. The other one's a nice bright red. Pods look identical. Hey, it could actually default it back to what it was before. It could be a cross. It could be anything like that. I mean, peppers cross-pollinate so easy. And I guess what we'll talk about is I've seen a lot of people promoting seed fraud, or I've been scammed because I didn't get the seeds. And one person in particular, and I'm not going to name names, but he purchased tomato seeds and he was upset because they turned out to be indeterminate instead of determinate. And he made a whole video about being scammed. I'm like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. But I guess just for clickbait and views and stuff like that, you put the big word scam across the top of your screen and thumbnail. But yeah, I mean, you're supposed to embrace some of the differences. Yes, it is a little disappointing sometimes when you want a specific pepper. Yeah, but if you don't get the specific pepper, I mean, that's not a big deal. I have a fish pepper. Actually, I'll just do a video right now. All right, so I have an example right here, and ignore this. This is my cucumbers just dying off. I'm tired of eating them. They've actually produced very well. But here's an example as a pepper that didn't come out to what I wanted to be. I've been wanting an actual fish pepper for the last 2 years, and every seed that I've picked up, unfortunately last year and this year, they didn't actually produce fish peppers. They have a specific striping and a coloring to them that I actually wanted to do a video and everything on, but yeah, I just unfortunately didn't get to do it. Am I upset? Actually, no, because I have enough peppers I'm doing other videos on. But here's the thing. Yes, these just ripen from a purple into a brown to a red, no striping or anything like that. But these things are like super, super sweet. Beautiful looking red pods and everything like that. And yeah, these just turned out to be wonderful. I'm actually thinking about going ahead, drying out the pepper, maybe smoking them, and trying to see what I can actually do with them. What they actually are, I don't know, but they taste wonderful. So yeah, it's not necessarily a fish pepper that I wanted or wanted to do the video on, didn't get to do that, but yeah, it just turned out to be a nice sweet pepper. So yeah, I mean, I'm not worried, I'm not upset or anything like that. So am I claiming I got scammed or fraud? No, because I understand that seeds cross-pollinate so very, very easily. Now let's talk about another cross right here. This is a beautiful pepper and everything right here. This is what they call a Congo D Nicaragua. Now these are seeds that I grew a few years ago, and I just had them in the back. I wasn't even selling the seeds or anything like that, but this is something that I've had. I decided just to grow this year, and these are seeds from my stock from previous. So this plant turned out absolutely beautiful, okay? This came from that same batch of seeds. And I'll tell you right now, that's not a Congo D Nicaragua. So yeah, even some of my own peppers and everything do cross. I mean, it does happen. I do grow multiple plants. Like for example, I have a row of 3 here. This one and the far one look like what they're supposed to. That also helps my odds in making sure I'm getting exactly what I want. But yeah, I mean, it does happen. Now there is a few things I do want to go over, and it's just some terminology when you're actually purchasing seeds, because I've actually got some crosses from major seed sellers that I've purchased, some of my friends I've gotten seeds from, some great seed providers and everything out there, and I've still gotten some weird crosses. I mean, it does happen. Nothing is 100% guaranteed. Now, I don't want to actually say that there isn't scammers out there, and I'll see if I can actually post a picture of that, but there was a somebody took an art installation, and I think it was in Indonesia. I could actually be wrong, but basically it was an art wall that actually had these decorative gourds on it that actually looks like a woman's breast, okay? And somebody on Etsy actually posted they had seeds for these, and then they were just selling these seeds out left and right, and apparently they sold thousands of these seeds for what they called these gourds. And come to find out, the picture was actually an art installation just for decoration. None of the stuff was real. And so you don't actually run into those things. So yeah, if something does seem too good to be true, it might be, especially if you're on, because I mean, we all deal on the internet. But for the most part, all the seed producers out there are pretty much on par. I mean, everybody I've pretty much dealt with, a few other people out there. The only things that I really think that are bad, and there are a few people who do this, is taking somebody else's product, renaming it, and then trying to sell it for themselves. Like for example, you have Matt from Matt's Peppers, and he actually has a pepper he got from his own and fruit everything too, called a Matapino. And he sends those out free when you purchase seeds and everything from him. Great looking pepper. I'm actually growing one this year and stuff like that too. But as a courtesy too, I'm never going to sell seeds because that is his product. That's his specialty, got his name and everything on it, so I'm not going to turn around and sell his seeds. But there are other people that will sell his seeds from his personal product, and even when he's asked for them not to sell them, they still sell them anyway. So there's some things I think are wrong like that. And honestly, I mean, And also too, from my personal opinion and just dealing with a lot of people out there, there's some great communities out there who share seeds, share peppers, want to grow different varieties, stuff like that. And 99% of the people are absolutely awesome to deal with, talk with, and everything else too, because we pretty much just love growing peppers. This is a passion, and you got those few bad players out there, but most everybody is awesome. Now, there is a couple terms that you do want to look for that I do want to share, especially when you're trying to pick up seeds and especially get something specific that you want. You have what they call open pollinated, and you have isolated peppers. Now, open pollination is pretty much what I do. Is all my peppers are out in the garden, and there is a chance with them, especially if you got bees and different pollinators coming through, because I got a hummingbird over there flying around some of my stuff now. But they can cross. There is always a chance that they can actually cross, and everything I grow is open pollinated. And even on my website where I sell my peppers, I actually have the it all labeled and everything, saying that these are all grown and are all open pollinated. Now, there is one individual on Etsy that I've bought peppers from a few times, and I forget his name right off the hand, but he actually does net isolation of his peppers, and I've never had an issue with anything that I've bought from him. So yeah, and what I mean by isolation is he actually has nets that are all built up and around his peppers individually, so there is a less of a chance to cross. There's still, I mean, it's not 100% foolproof, but it is very, very good. And I can say that any pepper I bought from him have been the actual phenotype and the picture that he's had on those peppers. So yeah, I mean, very, very nice on that too. But yeah, that was the difference between isolated and open pollinated. One last thing is I actually want to thank the community out there and everybody that interacts with me on YouTube, on some of our Discord channels that we're on, like Pepper Lovers and Pepper Chums. So great community out there, especially if you want to get into talking about peppers, people that love peppers and just touching base with them. Those are excellent communities that you can find on Discord. There is a couple pepper trading communities on Facebook. So there's a lot of people out there when you start looking at you can actually talk to, which is actually great. But I personally want to thank everybody that has interacted with me, that has helped me out, especially if I posted questions, if I have stuff I want to do, something I'm confused about, or anything like that. And I also appreciate everybody who's watched my videos and say, hey, your garden looks great, your peppers look great. Hey, honestly, I'm actually touched by that, and I very, very much appreciate it. So thank you all very much. Everybody that watches these videos, comments and stuff like that makes the whole journey worth it. I would be doing this regardless, just because I love doing this, and this turned out to be fun. Maybe a lot of people think I have a mental condition because I love burning up and having fun, but to me, this is actually fun. So I want to thank everybody out there that has actually been very, very supportive. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and call that as the video. If you enjoyed what you've seen here today, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button. That would actually help it out greatly. You can also follow me on a couple of my social medias up here, or you can head to my website down below. There I actually sell seeds, spices, and seasoning from all the peppers that I grow out of my garden. Yes, and they are all open pollinated. But with that, I want to say thank you all very much. I am Ralph. This is 13 Peppers, and you have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day.